Dementia is a life-affecting condition. To give the right sort of support, it's important to see beyond the dementia and understand who the person really is.
My name's Archie. At the moment, life is brilliant. I like my music. I like reading.
And art is very important to me. It's made life a lot more interesting.
It keeps me sane.
It's done so much for me to actually broaden my outlook on life, basically.
My diagnosis is dementia, but it's a case of managing the problem of dementia. It's not unmanageable if you get advice. That's a great thing, get advice. I went for my scan. 3 days later, I had a knock on the door. And there was a young girl who came in. She had a usual briefcase thing. She said, "You've got vascular dementia." That was it. At that time, I wasn't sure what vascular dementia was. I had an idea. And she took out this briefcase thing and she put a bundle of notes on that table. And she was only in here 5 minutes, and away she went. And you're left to your own devices. You need people to explain to you what's going on. They could sit down with you and say to you, "Look, this is not a death sentence. You're actually going to be all right. You've got to put certain things in place, but you'll be all right." That's all they had to say to put your mind at rest.
Being left to his own devices, all Archie had was a phone number for Alzheimer's Scotland, and his decision to call that number changed everything.
I'm Wendy Rankin, and I'm the Development Officer for the Scottish Dementia Working Group. Archie is a definite man that knows what he wants. Definitely has a sense of humour, and that I found was very endearing. You know, he's got a lot of endearing qualities. His appearance is very important to him. To see Archie without a suit and a shirt and tie on is rare. And I think it's very much a part of who he is. When I first met Archie was still coming to terms with his diagnosis. I think, you know, it had been a shock for him to have his diagnosis, and he was very, very lonely and lacked confidence. Did just seem very isolated. And also I think just, I've got dementia, what happens now?
When I got that diagnosis, I never went out that door for 3 weeks. You couldn't alleviate all the fears that diagnosis brings to you. I was in a glass box and I was watching the world go past.
So I'd spoke to Archie just about the kind of person he was, the kind of person he is, what he likes to do, what he has difficulties with. And then he was looking for something and to meet other people. And then I knew of the Scottish Dementia Working Group at that time, and I thought of that was something that possibly Archie would be interested in. The role of the group is to give people a voice, so it's trying to say what people need. We are the people with dementia, this is what we need. So I made a referral to the Scottish Dementia Working Group, and then Archie's never looked back.
Good morning, my man. How are you with this lovely weather?
I'm good. You get in the front or in the back?
We go to a lot of conferences, we talk to people, and I can pass it on what it's like to live with dementia and deal with it and have a good quality of life as well. The only person who knows about dementia is the person who's got it. Because we're all different, we all deal with it differently. But if you're talking about it, you're breaking a barrier. And when you break that barrier, other people can pass it on and say, "Look, because you've got dementia, it doesn't mean you've got to stay in the house all the time and have people come in to look after you. You can actually lead your own life."
Working alongside Wendy gave Archie a new sense of purpose and importantly focused on what he could do. This helped to make him feel included, whilst also giving him a great sense of independence.
So a lot of our meetings are in Glasgow and Edinburgh. So we always get a taxi down to the station, which Archie does independently, and then we get a train. Because we've done it so often now, even Archie knows that that'll be the 8:54 we're getting or that, you know. So a lot of the times I think we can sometimes get a bit comfortable going to Glasgow. So when there's anything different, that's something then when Archie and I have our meetings that we do discuss, and sometimes it's written in the diary then, and he uses his diary whenever he's going to buy tickets or whenever he's looking at what he's doing for the next week. And I think it was very important for Archie's mental well-being and to get his confidence back, and to get him going back outside and being involved. And I think seeing that, and I've seen Archie grow in confidence, and quite quickly, just when he started going to the meetings and things as well. And obviously travelling independently has been such a good thing for him. So yeah, I think it's really important for him.
Of course, just because you have one life-affecting condition doesn't mean that you can't get another. Alongside his dementia, Archie found he had a heart problem that required surgery. And for many people with dementia, going into hospital can be a difficult experience.
Archie was on the waiting list for a heart valve replacement. Archie had this postponed really at the 11th hour, which really affected actually Archie, not just physically but mentally as well. It kind of really made him low because he was so close. But also he wasn't given another date. And then unfortunately Archie then had a couple of occasions where he'd collapsed, so he was then admitted to hospital, admitted as an emergency firstly.
When my heart really played me up, I collapsed. And they took me in, and I went to Ward 1. Although it was a heart ward, nobody paid attention to you. And they knew I had the dementia as well.
The ward was very busy with machines beeping continually all the time as well. You know, I think it's very difficult, but I think, you know, staff need to see the person as well, and I think that's where it is very important to find out a bit more about the background.
And then they moved into Ward 4, and that was brilliant. They spoke to you. They actually said, "How are you feeling?" When I was at Ward 1, nobody actually said that to me. "How are you feeling?" It's when you're in this position, the nurses sit down and talk to you. How are you? And get that contact with someone, that humanness. And what a difference that made.
After successful surgery, Archie made a good enough recovery to get his life going again, rediscovering his sense of independence, his interests and his passions.
I enjoy my life at the present moment is my independence. That's so important for me, my independence. I can come and go as I please. That wasn't like that at the beginning.
The one we look at is a painting by Sir Noel Paton, and his paintings normally are of good and evil. The angel that's in the boat there is obviously the good one. It's got a certain atmosphere about it. It's good that I can come and see it anytime I want.
Dementia doesn't now really interfere with me at all, except occasionally I'll lose my balance or things like that. Forgetfulness is an absolute bore to me. Short-term memory. Well, you've got all the post-it notes here, and I cope with it that way. So when I walk from my front room to here, I've got all these little stick-it notes. For instance, have you got your bus pass? Have you got your keys? Because I'm forever losing keys. We put a lot of things in place, and when you go about with other people with dementia, the things you learn are absolutely amazing. And that's the most important. Wallet and money, and that one there. Because if I don't go out with money, if I do get lost or I get disorientated, I've got enough to get a taxi back. Give people with dementia the right to actually do as much as they can on their own. It's a case of making sure that you can tell the professionals, this sounds very bumptious, what you want, not what they want to give you. So you can lead your life as you want to lead it. not as they wish you to lead it.
So when you've got this dementia problem, get out every day. Don't sit in. Get out every day, because that gives you the freedom and the confidence to do other things, to meet other people, see how the rest of the world's turning round. That's what it's all about.